Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Angela, your own Bookaholic Brownim. Today I am going to do my TBR versus wrap-up video. It's been a disaster of a month when it comes to my reading plans, and that's because I was quite busy with the work-related busyness and I just couldn't catch up with my reading plans, and I just went with whatever I felt like reading at that point in time because I was kind of stressed out as well because of late night con calls and meetings, etc. So my schedule was completely toppled last month. However, I was able to read some excellent book. I even discovered a new favorite author. So it was not completely a disaster or a fail. So my TBR and wrap up, they are like this, completely opposite to each other. So without further ado, let's get into the video. My name is Angela and your own Bookaholic Brownim. You can call me Angie. I love books a lot and I talk about books in this channel. So if you love books the way I do, please do not hesitate from subscribing to my channel. Also, please like, share and comment in this video so that I can engage with you guys. So getting into my TBR now. So my TBR for March looked like this. You can see here. The Last Argument of Kings, did I read it? No. The Assassin's Quest, did I read it? I started it. I am 25% into the book, yet to finish the rest of it. Red Seas Under Red Skies, no, it's postponed to maybe next month or to May. I don't know. Yeah, maybe May. And then I had War and Peace included because there is a read along that's spread across 3 months, and which is being hosted by the Literary Discourse Discord, and I joined the read along. I like the book. It's not amazing. It's not something that I am eager to get back to. It's not that great as I expected. It's definitely a slow start for me. Maybe it becomes more interesting as we progress because obviously it's written by Tolstoy and it is definitely a classic. So I don't know if I will continue or not this month because I'm not feeling it, guys. So maybe I might pick it up sometime later in future, but right now I'm thinking of DNFing it. So War and Peace, sorry Tolstoy, I have to let you go for now. And the last book is my nonfiction read of the month, which was The Consequences of Capitalism by Noam Chomsky and Mark Waterstone. So I will talk about more about that book. I did read that book, and boy, Chomsky as usual just amazes me. I'm just always in wonder of his knowledge. So yeah. So now let's get into the wrap up of the month and see how far I have strayed from my TBR. So the beginning of March, I was almost 75% into The Royal Assassin, which is the second book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I am reading the series along with Gregory Lepurch's Discord channel, and I unfortunately couldn't wind it up by the end of the month, so I carried it over to March, and I finished Royal Assassin in March. It was such a great experience. I completely can see why Robin Hobb is such a great fantasy writer and why people love her so much. And I'm reading Assassin's Quest right now, and it's even better. I like it much better than Royal Assassin. In fact, even though some of my favorite characters have not yet made an appearance in the third book, I am still loving it. But I have to finish it this week so that I can join the live discussion in Gregory's channel. So that's about the Farseer trilogy. And the second book that I read led me to discover my new favorite crime thriller author, which is Alice Feeney. And the book that I'm talking about is His and Hers. Oh my god, guys, I absolutely love it. As you know, I am a sucker for mystery thrillers, psychological thrillers, murder mysteries, etc. And oh my god, this was such a great book to indulge in. I obviously, because it is mystery thrillers, and usually I listen to my thrillers on audiobook as opposed to reading the actual physical book. And because of the fact that narrator was so great, I had a blast. So there are three POVs in this book. So the first POV is of a woman named Anna Andrews. She is a journalist, and she's been promoted to the current position that she is in, where she, presents primetime news, I think, because her predecessor went on a maternity leave, and she was, all of a sudden promoted to this position, which she is enjoying a lot. But all of a sudden, she one day when she is back to work, she realizes that her predecessor is back from her maternity leave, and she is demoted back to field work as a journalist. And the first job that she is called into is a murder scene, and she has to cover that story. And the second POV is of the detective or the police officer who is assigned to investigate this case. And when he reaches the murder scene, he realizes that the person who has been murdered, the woman who has been murdered, he knows her quite intimately, quite closely, and he has his own personal issues, and we get a glimpse into that also, and that is very well tied into the story as well. And then the third POV is the most interesting POV. Now, like I said, I was listening to the audiobook, so the voice was kind of muffled and distorted using a, I don't know, some kind of device, I think, that we don't identify, the person via their voice. So it was kind of, you cannot identify if it is a woman or a man who is doing the narration. So that was quite interesting and creepy at the same time. Now, I've been listening to each and every word the murderer says, because we have this rare instance of getting his first person POV in a murder investigation, so that was quite exciting. I was hanging on to every word they were using, but still I just couldn't guess who the actual culprit was. Alice Feeney, the author, has such a great, skill in keeping you guessing. Like, for in every chapter, you have one or the other guess, and you think that you know the answer. There is nothing that could surprise you, but trust me, till the end you will be engaged, and the author keeps you guessing. I love that kind of thrillers where you are completely in the dark and the twists are thrown at you when you least expect them. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the writing style. In fact, when I was reading this book, I actually wanted to buy the book at least on Kindle, because then I can highlight some quotes, because usually in murder mysteries you don't get quotable quotes, but this book did have some of those to offer. So I was thinking of maybe I should buy the book and underline and highlight, or at least buy it on Kindle and highlight it and keep it. That was His and Hers by Alice Feeney. The next book that I read was Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Miller. Holy moly, this was another great thriller. The novel is about this girl who disappeared 14 years ago from the time the narration of this story actually happens, and her name was Angela Wong. She was only 16 years old when this disappearance happened. She was never found until it was 14 years later. Her body was found in the woods somewhere. With the help of the DNA that was present in her body, her killer was eventually captured, and that was a guy called Kaiser Brody. What makes it complicated was that during the investigation it comes to light that it was Georgina Shaw, which is Angela Wong's best friend, who helped or aided Kaiser in disposing of the body and getting rid of the evidences. And she is sentenced to prison for 5 years, and we get to see her prison life a little bit, and how she copes up with the prison life, and how friendships are built and alliances are built in the prison. So that was quite nice to see. Anyways, after 5 years she comes out, and a couple of days before she comes out, bodies start appearing near where Angela Wong's body was found, and people start getting murdered exactly the way Angela Wong was murdered. That's where the mystery lies. Who is killing these people? Oh my god, guys, you will never guess the ending. It was such a satisfying conclusion to an edge of the seat thriller. Oh, I forgot to rate his and hers. So his and hers would be 5, and Jar of Hearts would be 4. So I have told you this before, and I'm telling you this again. If I see Paris in the title of a book, I'm going to pick this up, and that's what I did with The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Now, I have read previously books from Lucy Foley, The Guest List and The Hunting Party and all that. I actually really enjoyed them. The story is about this woman called Jess, and she is broke without a job, and she's based out of London. And then she calls her brother, who is in Paris currently staying there, and she calls him up and say that, hey, I have to stay with you for a couple of months until I pick myself back up from this rut that I am in currently. Her brother agrees somewhat reluctantly, like not that excited that she is going to go and stay with him. Anyways, she reaches this apartment in the city of Paris. When she reaches the apartment, she realizes that this is in a posh area of the city, and obviously the inhabitants are also rich and posh. But once she reaches there, she realizes that her brother is not there, nowhere to be seen. And she comes across weird people who are staying in the apartment. Weird in the sense that they are hostile, they are not happy that she is there, and they make that feeling very clear to her. And the concierge of the apartment building, she is also creepy. Basically, this is a very claustrophobic, locked up in an apartment kind of a thriller. I did not enjoy it as much as I did the other 2 books that I talked about, because I predicted the ending somewhat 70% into the book, so that the mystery factor was taken away, because I could guess it easily what could have happened. The shock factor was not as much as I would have expected out of a great mystery novel. This is the second book by Alice Feeney that I have ever read, and if his and hers made me intrigued about this author, this book had me floored. Oh my god, this was such a 5-star read. Actually, I want to give it 10 out of 5 for this book. It was that great a book. I absolutely loved it, and the book is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. The novel is about a couple, husband and wife, Adam and Amelia. Their marriage is kind of stale. Amelia actually wins a trip to Scotland, and she grabs this opportunity and takes Adam along, as a last attempt to save their stale marriage. Their marriage is almost at a breaking point, and this is her last attempt to save it. So once they reach in Scotland, they understand that their accommodation is kind of an old chapel kind of a place, which has been converted into a house, or a place where they can stay. Once they reach there, strange things keep happening. Creepy, scary horror movie kind of stuffs. They start hearing creepy noises. Their dog disappears. All kind of strange things start happening, and at some point I thought, is this a mystery thriller or is it really a horror novel? So it had the elements of a great horror novel as well as a great mystery, and oh my god, the reveals one after the other. It just, again, just like his and hers, Alice Feeney keeps you engaged and keeps you guessing, and trust me, each reveal is as shocking and amazing as the other. So that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Next book that I read was The Overnight Guest by Heather Woodenkopf. I hope that's how her last name is pronounced. I rated this 5-star. There are 3 POVs, and I do not want to tell you too much about the 3 POVs, because as and when the story unfolded, I enjoyed the process of putting all these 3 POVs together and to understand how they all tie in together. So the first POV is of this woman. Her name is Wiley Lark, and she is currently locked herself up or isolated herself up in a house far away from her home, her actual home. because she's a true crime writer and she wants her peace of mind while she is writing her current story. Anyways, one stormy night, she's completely slowed in and she cannot go out or anything. She's locked up inside of her house, completely isolated. At some point in the night, her puppy or the dog that she has, he wants to go out for a walk. She lets him out, and you know he discovers something in the snow, and that something is a little boy, almost dead but not exactly dead, and she rescues him and brings him inside. So that is the overnight guest, and she is worried that whether she will be able to help him out or rescue him, because she cannot call the emergency service because the phone is out of order. She cannot go out because it is snowed in, no vehicle, no help is coming. So she has to somehow make sure that he survives this particular night. But as the night progresses, she realizes that there is somebody else. She has this feeling that she's not alone. That's one POV, and the second POV is of two unnamed characters, one mother and a daughter, and we from the get-go we know that there is something wrong with these two. They are not at all allowed to go out by this woman's husband. So basically they are kind of in an abusive relationship, and they are locked in. And the third POV is of this nice family couple, a husband and wife, and their two children, a son and a daughter, and the son is in his teenage and obviously quite rebellious. That particular night, in the sense the night of the event that is important for this particular POV, a tragedy happens. So that fateful, eventful night, the daughter's best friend is over in their home for a sleepover, and by morning the husband, the wife, the son are killed. The daughter's friend is missing and she is completely devastated. Nobody knows what happened. How well this story is crafted together and how well all these three POVs fall into place. So satisfactory. I absolutely enjoyed this particular thriller. So that is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gurenkopf. The last thriller that I read this month is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is book number 1 in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder mystery series. The story is about this girl called Pippa Fitz-Amobi. She is doing her final year project in the school. She chooses the murder of a girl called Angie 5 years ago by her boyfriend Lal Singh as the topic for her research or her final project. And as and when she does the research, more and more truth about Auntie Belle and also about the relationship between her and her boyfriend, rest of the people in the community comes into light, and the mystery factor, the twist, the surprise elements were all top notch. But yeah, there was something lacking in terms of writing. The build up to the suspense, that adrenaline rush, that was kind of missing in this story. So yeah, that's why I rated it maybe 3.5 or 4. This was, but don't mistaken me, this was definitely a great mystery thriller. Great for me. Last but not the least is a non-fiction book of the month, which is The Consequences of Capitalism by Noam Chomsky and Mark Waterstone. Book is what it says. It is an exploration into the consequences of capitalism. The book is kind of a transcript of the lectures that they gave in 2019. So it lacks that perfect, the feel of reading a political essay, but it has this feeling of, actually reading or listening to a lecture. I will have a discussion of this book along with Gregory Lepperch, mostly in his channel. So I will announce that as soon as that is done and released, so that you can go and see us discussing this book, which is The Consequences of Capitalism by Noam Chomsky and Mark Waterstone. So if you ask me, am I proud of this reading month? I'm kind of proud because I still managed to read 8 books, but at the same time, I did not read, most of the books that I set out to read in the beginning. So in that way, it was kind of a fail, but at the same time, I ended up reading quite exciting books. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of the reading month that was March, and I will see you soon in another video very soon. This is Angie signing off. Bye-bye.